Hey, I kept that in last time.
Got a good one. Got a good one there. I did some actions with the Glacier Gamble sign.
Welcome back to the Glacier Gamble podcast. We have another breakdown of Agatha / review, reaction, whatever you want to call it. While you're here, make sure you like, subscribe, let us know what you think about the previous episodes, this episode, as well as our episodes. But let us know what you think about the show, because that's what we really want to know. And I apologize. I may look like, I need a shave or something like that. But I've just given up. So, there's my reasoning. Tonight,
I shaved today.
nice.
Let me turn my head so you can see. Yeah,
Beautiful.
it's one of my chores I needed to get done. So my entire body looks like this. So.
We are, for those, this is not, sports. This is all Marvel and nerdy stuff. Speaking of which, we may have a quick little thing at the end. But just want to say, quick, go Minnesota Lynx. They're in the finals. Let's go.
Yes.
So anyway, Agatha all along. This was Agatha's trial. And we get to see, her a little bit more of her background and what's going on there. But that's really not what it's about. This was not Agatha's episode. This was Teen's episode.
Yeah.
But is he teen? No, he's not teen. We got to learn who he was, which, if you haven't seen it yet, click away now, come back and watch us after, because we're going to give away something that's probably already been spoiled for you anyway.
Thanks, Funko Pop.
Thanks, Funko. Thanks, every other person on Twitter who seemed to want to spoil this show more than any other show or movie I've seen.
Yeah, but nobody's watching it though.
Yeah,
so.
But no one's watching. But yeah, I thought this was really. I thought it was a quick episode. If you take out credits and you take out the
25.5 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, without the recap and credits, it's a 25-minute episode. So really, it's. One of the things some people, casual viewers, are liking is that they're shorter episodes, but this one in particular is real short.
Short, yeah.
But that's okay. Sometimes, not everything needs to be an hour long, but the episode, in that same sense, this episode did feel pretty rushed, but it was still good. So, you take what you can get. We got to see Agatha's mom again. We saw her in WandaVision. Now we got to see her here.
Sure.
And but this time she was as a ghost possessing Agatha. Part of what made this show with this episode feel so rushed was it almost was like they were forcing things to happen in order to make the next, like the Ouija board. That it kind of just was out of like, oh, here's the Ouija board. This needs to happen. By the way, take your hand off possession. It's like, okay, we need this to happen so that Agatha can get possessed. Like everything kind of seemed to be like, this needs to happen so this can happen, as opposed to showing you why the initial thing needs to happen. It was just like, we're going to make this happen so that you know why this happened. It was just, it was very much, it felt a little forced for me. But it was kind of cool that we talked about how this episode or this show, they were going to go like trial. And then the last two episodes were going to be this big thing. And that was going to be Agatha's trial, was like the last one.
Sure.
I think that they would have been bored. Like they didn't want such a cookie cutter episode layout.
Right.
So yeah. I think that's a big reason why they did it this way, is they're like, nope, trials are still going to possibly be happening. But that whole layout of episodes, that outline is out the window now.
Sure.
That's kind of what I felt about this episode. What did you think?
Yeah, I like that didn't, like, it's not going to like continue like that, I suppose. Because I think it would have gotten too repetitive and kind of boring.
Yes.
And granted, I would have liked to see, like, they're going to be going through trials just through this, like, through the story, and it may not seem like, oh, this is our trial. It's going to be like, there's still going to be tests, small tests throughout the entire show. And that's kind of just what Agatha's journey is going to be, is all a bunch of small tests throughout this whole thing. So I'm glad they got away from that. And I we'll talk about the ending and I kind of how that could like what it could mean for the entirety of this episode, as well as like the future. But we called the Alice thing too. Like if anyone was going to die, it would have been the person that's not a witch. And then Alice,
Right.
which is what we kind of said. So yeah, I mean I'm
Alice
a
dying was depressing, just for the fact that they gave what you do in making shows and movies. They gave her character closure and then killed her. Like, oh, her
right,
story's closed, so now it's okay
sure,
if she dies. Um, but another way to look at it was she was like finally at peace and happy, and now it's like no,
right,
she died doing
yeah,
the right thing, even trying to save somebody she didn't even like. Like
yeah,
it was sad
yeah,
for
I get it.
Alice.
Right. And the whole Agatha taking the power that she did have, like I mean, you don't know if you can trust her,
Sure.
really. Like you don't know if you want to believe that like, oh, okay, she didn't do it. Like she didn't take that power. Um and like when she said it wasn't me, like I didn't do that, you want to believe her. And that goes more towards the end of the episode where like it could have not been her.
Who would it
So
have been? Would it have been her mom possessing her?
no, I think it could have been the big reveal at the end. It could have been the big reveal at the end. Yeah.
Sure. So how could it have been the big how could it have been so you think it was so the big
I don't
reveal is that
think it
Teen
was
is
anything.
Wiccan.
Right. And just like your mother, um, just like your mother in regards to everyone's assuming it's Wanda, right? He's got the crown,
He's
got the
got her
crown,
crown,
and
yeah.
right, he's got like the
So
Maximoff
you think it
crown,
was
and
Wiccan who took the
it
power?
could have been Wiccan. It could have been Wiccan because if Wanda can control a whole town, like, and Wiccan is Wanda's son, like should have the capability to do that same thing.
Yeah.
And so if he could control the town, and you see at the very end he controls the two other witches,
Mm-hmm.
to grab Agatha. So he could have controlled her in that moment to take Alice's power. And my thought behind it is Rio couldn't kill Wanda or couldn't kill Agatha because she was powerless. And if say like say like Billy, I'm just gonna call him Billy. Say Teen or Billy is not Agatha's familiar. What if Billy is like Rio's familiar? And so she wanted Agatha. You didn't see Rio at the end. She wanted Agatha to get power so that she could eventually kill her. I don't know. I mean, I'm just spitballing, but
Mm-hmm.
but
It makes
but they
sense though.
wanted you to believe that those two are tied together. But maybe it's not those two that are tied together. I don't know. It could be anything, but I feel like they wanted to make you believe that like, oh, this kid that you've been trusting that has no magical power is actually like insane. So
Right. So, quick summation for those. Like, they went through Agatha's trial, which had, summoned the spirit of her mom. Her spirit of her mom possessed her. Then they had to try to banish the spirit. In trying to banish the spirit, Alice used her powers on Agatha while she was possessed, to which Agatha then absorbed her powers and killed Alice, which
suck her
Alice was the
dry.
Blood Witch.
Yeah.
And then after sucking her dry, they like ran out of the house because the seven Salem witches are now on the road following them, or are they? Um, so now the Salem witches are following them, and they have to try to like escape. And now that they're on the road, once they're on the road, they say, "Did you kill her? Was that you?" Agatha was trying to defend herself, and then Teen reveals
She goes through that. That was very odd too.
where
The
she's
way
like
Agatha was
fine, and then all of a sudden
acting.
goes evil.
Yeah, that was
Right.
super weird too.
Where she like leans into him and says that you're just like your mother,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
was
You get a little bit of power, and all of a sudden you know who he is. that doesn't track.
Right.
I
Or was that to
guess.
show she's known who he is the whole time?
Right. Yeah.
And the word that needed to be yelled in order to banish her mother was Nicholas Scratch.
Right. Yeah. To have her kind of lock out of it or like
Right.
snap back to reality.
Oh, there goes gravity.
Right.
It's so like that's what happened at the end, and then all of a sudden, Teen reveals he has powers because Agatha
Strong
says,
powers.
very strong
Strong
powers, and
powers.
because Agatha says you're just like your mom. He has a crown show up, which looks just like Scarlet Witch's. So
Yeah,
clearly that's
yeah, a
supposed to
little
be-
bit. It's a little silver as opposed to like red, but it had like the M on it for like Maximoff, kind of like,
And we
or kind of
saw
like how
the leak. The leak was the undershot, the back shot of his hand with the blue sparks.
yeah,
That was what the
right,
leak was, and we saw that little scene, which was him using that magic to distort reality, which sent Agatha into that mud that was trying to eat Mrs. Hart early on in the second episode. And then he uses his powers again to throw potions and divination into their
right.
mud
Just
as well.
yeah,
And
the
they
mud
also
too.
get completely sucked under.
Right.
And Rio was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, nowhere.
That was like the whole episode for you summed up in like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
That's how
Right.
easy this was to sum up.
Right.
And that's how quick this episode went. Was basically to get to that reveal of what does Agatha know, what is going on with Rio, and we now know Teen is Billy Maximoff / Billy Kaplan / Wiccan / one of the most powerful most powerful beings in the Marvel universe.
Right. And he's 16 too. Like,
and he's 16. But now here's where my questions start to arise, because as soon as the episode was over, I was like, what the heck? Like, really, what happened?
Right.
It was 1:30 in the morning when I finished the episode, for those who want to know. And when I said what out loud, I woke my wife up, which she probably loved. She was very concerned because she thought I was like something was wrong, but I was just watching the show.
Sure.
And because I had all these questions in my head, like, what's going on? Are they trying to say Wiccan is bad?
Yeah. Yeah. They're trying to make you believe that Wiccan is bad, and I don't think it's gonna stick because he's not, he's not. So and I think they're, like I just told you like 5 minutes before we started, I think they're trying to take pressure off Rio, because during the Ouija board they said, they asked who is here, and they said it was death. So and then it's like, what do you want? And it said punish Agatha. So that's revealing in itself,
that Rio wants to punish Agatha.
Right. And she can't punish Agatha without Agatha having magic.
Okay.
Like, how she wants. That's kind of how I view the whole thing. And then I also think when Agatha was like, come along, pet, that was also weird.
Do you think that maybe Rio was disguised as Agatha there? Do you think that's a possibility?
Well, she was the first one out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, Agatha was the first one out, and then it was Teen. But I don't know. It just didn't. Something's off about the whole thing. Yeah, something's off about the whole thing. But I actually think like they've used. They perfectly referenced, you're familiar, familiars don't, and in reference to Teen, and then like when they're talking about the brooms or something, they said familiar, and then she says pet later on, and I was like, okay, they want you to think that Billy is tied to her, but I don't think Billy is tied to her. I think he's just a tool that Rio's using.
Yeah, I mean, he shows up in Agatha's closet because, Rio showed up in her distorted reality that supposedly was because of Wanda. And then when Agatha opens the closet, there's Teen.
Right.
So, which could also be from Rio.
Yeah.
So,
I still think it's like Billy Kaplan. I think that, but then again, the thing with Billy Kaplan is it's like the essence of Billy Maximoff. Mephisto uses that, and Rio could be an agent of Mephisto, which they also referenced earlier. I think there's all the pieces there. We just don't know how the pieces fit.
Yeah, we watched them fall away, but so here's a kind of ridiculous thing to me. He's got blue magic.
Right. Which Billy did in WandaVision too.
Exactly.
He had little glimpses of blue, right? So
blue is not usually used for bad guy stuff.
Right.
In anything.
Correct. Right.
Blue lightsaber, always the good guy.
Right.
Anakin's blue turned to red.
Right.
Yeah, blue tends to be for good. So I know they're trying to show that Wiccan might be darker, but there has yet, even when he did that, because Agatha still feels just pure evil, and they also made her feel extra evil at the end there. The only time that they've tried to show you that, or try to make you believe she's not evil, is when they're doing her burning scene. Even then, you really didn't feel super bad for her when her mom was possessing her, or at least I didn't.
Right.
And then at the end, she's like, "You're just like your mother," and she acted all dark. Wiccan / Billy / teen felt like he was punishing somebody bad. He wasn't doing anything wrong, which is why I felt confused when he also threw the other two witches.
I think it's confused. I think it's confusing because that's what triggered him. Okay, so say from the beginning, say he's not working with Rio. Say just from the beginning, he knows, or Mephisto put the thought in his head. Mephisto uses essence, made Billy Maximoff, put the essence of Billy Maximoff into Billy Kaplan. He knows all that stuff. He knows that Wanda tried to whatever, or Agatha tried to mess with Wanda, all the stuff Wanda went through. And so now Billy is trying to come back, find Agatha, break her out of this spell, break her out of this curse that she's in, and then exact revenge through all this.
For Mephisto. Everything would be for Mephisto.
Well, he probably wouldn't know that it's he's just Billy Maximoff. He's just Billy Maximoff, right? He's
okay.
So he wouldn't know any better.
Revenge for his mom,
right? Okay. Right. That's how that's how it would go. But so from the fans' point of view, does it make sense that this 16-year-old boy is going to go through all of this to seek revenge on Agatha? That doesn't make any sense. He's very strong. Don't get me wrong, he's very very strong.
Agatha couldn't deflect or absorb his magic.
Right. So that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that Wiccan is bad.
No, not at all.
That's he could want revenge on her, but why has he acted this way the entire time?
Right.
Why is he going along with it and being oh, this is fun. I love the sisterhood. You know what I mean? It just doesn't.
Right. And he seems so amazed by the brooms, and he seems to have so much knowledge about their history and everything. And yeah, it's very, very strange.
Fun fact, Wiccan trains under Doctor Strange, just saying.
Yeah, and Agatha tutors him.
Yeah.
Teaches him how to use magic.
Right.
So he's got two of the most powerful or smart or cunning witches and wizards.
And his mom is stronger than all of them. So
right. And then he's probably stronger than all of them as well.
Yeah, oh yeah. I bet a top tier Wiccan could be actually top tier Wiccan would be pretty close to a top tier Strange, I think.
I think top tier. I can't think of another magic user that outranks a top tier Wiccan, in my opinion.
Right. Besides Wanda.
Even then, I think he's
yeah. Our Wanda's different. Our Wanda's different. But yeah. I know what you mean. Right. Right.
So let us know what you think. Is Billy a Is he
Billy
good or
bad.
bad? I have another question.
Sure.
By the way, that was targeted towards the comments. Please comment. Do you think Billy's good or bad? But my other question is his notebook. He lost his magic book that, contained his spells and all that stuff. Do you think that's significant? Because I feel like it's such a weird thing to focus on for it not to be significant.
My initial thought, now that you bring that up, is that so Harry Potter is like Horcruxes, right?
Yes.
And that like you get rid of all those Horcruxes and then they're vulnerable. That's kind of how I see it. So like if he lost his notebook, that would have been like his Horcrux, and that would have maybe reduced the strength of the sigil so that Agatha finally understood who he was or could tell who he was now that she had magic running through her veins. Okay. That's my initial thought now that you say that. But it is once again, like it is a super weird thing. Oh, why do I need this little spell book with all our spells when I can do Wiccan stuff?
Right,
like
when I can change reality.
Exactly.
I have the power of an infinity stone just based in me.
Right.
Like, the reality stone? Nah. I can just do what I want with my brain.
Right. And I can mind control without blinking, like without batting an eye. Like it's right. Nothing to him. Like Wanda's got to do the little hand stuff, right? Like when Wiccan's just like, I'm just gonna control you from
right. Wanda's got to like go through your head. She's got to find a way into your psyche, and Wiccan doesn't. Like that's what I mean. Like he's traditionally in books and everything. Like usually when somebody's really powerful and they have a kid, the kid's more powerful,
right?
And that's how he feels.
Yeah,
which again,
and I think
because of the comics, it's confusing to see why you'd want him to be bad, which is why it's not
I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's bad at all. I think this could have just been a distortion of our reality, like we us watching this. I also think Rio probably has something to do with it. Like that's just so weird. Like everyone's like, "Oh my god, Wiccan," but it's like my first thought is, where was Rio? So yeah, I don't think he's bad at all. The Notebook, once again, what's the significance if he can do that type shit? You know what I mean?
So that's where I think. So do you think the Salem witches are actually on the road?
Do I think because
the ones just crumpled. Like they when they defeated one, it just disintegrated.
The locust, like went into like the locusts, or the roaches or whatever. I mean, once again, okay,
that could have been just a distorted reality, similar to being turned into bubbles.
Right. And so, like, but genuinely, like, before they were going to try to find the entrance to the road, like, he was terrified of those. All right, like he was trying to stop them from getting in. He eventually sprinted down the stairs. So, like, that can't be that can't be him. Like, it can't be him in his right mind.
Sure.
Because, like, he could have just Wiccaned them all. Like, he could take them. Well,
exactly. That's why they were kind of defeated easily. Like maybe he led them into they're chasing them, encouraged them to open the road faster, and then he runs into the road, and now it's like, are they even there? Because maybe he was just making Agatha and the other witches think the witches were after him.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. Well, the Witcher's Road exists too,
right?
So like, it's not. It could be him, but like I do think they're on the road.
My theory with the book on the road is either the witches, if they are real, the witches have it, and that is what's going to come into play. Is the Salem witches are going to be the ones that are releasing his powers via the book. Like, they lifted the sigil, they lifted, like, all these things are happening because they have the book.
Or I don't necessarily. That was my thought. Is Rio has it because she could pickpocket him.
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the fact that she wasn't there, I don't know. The fact that she wasn't there, and the fact that Wiccan has been very.
Well, yeah, she has to take Alice's body.
Inconsistent. Like he's just been very inconsistent throughout this whole thing. I think there's probably someone pulling the strings for him. And then it's going to get to the point where I think she's going to have to decide between Rio and him. And I think it's going to be him. So, and then Rio might. I mean, I think Rio will stay.
Now, why
and
would she choose him if she knows he's Wanda's kid to try to absorb his magic?
I think the Nicholas Scratch thing. I think she's gonna see Nicholas in him. Okay. And eventually decide to choose him because I think she's gonna realize that it's not him pulling the strings and he's actually scared.
Or is it what we said, that a little bit of Nicholas is also in him?
Could be. I mean, it could be.
We've been right before.
Yeah, it could have also been Wiccan, like, fucking with her. You know what I mean? Like, Nicholas Scratch, and then she hears, "Mom, stop." You know what I mean? Like that. Wiccan could do that. He could do that for sure. But it could have also been Rio doing that. You don't know. Like, that's where I still think there's someone pulling the strings, and it's not him. Yeah.
Now, my final thought on this show, so far. Obviously, there's more to come. This has been a very female-empowered show. And like the advertising for it, the presses for it, the writing, carpets, everything.
Right.
With the direction that they're going, they're making it seem as though Billy is the real focus, and Billy is the most powerful, and Billy is the one you're supposed to care about, and it's Billy or Mephisto that really is doing all the pulling, all this stuff.
I mean, it's still an essence of Mephisto, you know what I mean?
Like, right. I don't know if that is a failure of writing, or if that's going to be something that people are pissed about, or if that's something people aren't even going to think about. But like with all of this female empowerment, now you're saying this one, possibly two male characters are pulling 90% of the show's weight. And that's where I'm like,
okay. I mean, I get that. And then they're making Billy seem like it, but I also think like this is why I don't have female friends. I think that line is gonna like not necessarily come into play, but like I think that line has more weight to it.
Sure.
I think Mephisto is still pulling the strings, but Rio is the true villain of this.
God, I hope.
And
so.
I just think she deserves to be like it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense for Billy to have that much malice and hatred and like you could want to get back, but like what is taking you so long?
Well, they asked Wanda how many witches survived the last time she was on the road, and she said one.
Agatha, yeah.
Agatha, and
it's probably Rio. Like it's probably Rio.
Probably Rio. So are they trying to say this time, like, only one is gonna survive?
Yeah, so and it's Rio or Billy.
It's probably exactly. So the other two are. You should.
I think that's the price. Up to them dying. That's probably the price of the Witch's Road, and nobody knows that except Agatha.
Again, that's my guess. Infinity Stone, the Soul Stone.
There's one. Yeah, you got to pick one. Yeah. You got to pick the person you love the most.
Interesting.
That's how it is.
Well, we've been right before. If you're watching this and you're like, these guys don't really seem to know what they're talking about, we've been right many times. I highly suggest you watch any of our previous episodes where we say, here's a link to another episode where we called this. I don't know. I just think I'm just going to toot our horns here a little bit. Like, we've come up with character ideas before for video games that people ended up using. We've come up with theories about TV shows or movies that end up becoming true. For any of the like directors and writers that are watching this, feel free to hire us. We will work for super cheap remotely and just send you everything. So just go ahead and send that our way. I have our business email attached to this YouTube. So just
at Marvel, at DC, at Marvel, Universal, at
that is
at Amazon.
Yeah. That is a Glazier. So this is the Glazier Gamble. It is glazier33@gmail.com. Feel free to email that to us, and we'll meet you. We'll talk to you then. You know what? And if you're watching this right now, feel free to send us in any emails, comments, follow, all that stuff, all that good stuff. I've been loving this show. I can't wait for the last few episodes, and anything that can make my wife interested, who's extremely casual Marvel, doesn't care about superheroes at all.
Right.
In my
More
opinion,
just excited that you're excited. Kind of thing.
right. And the
Right.
way I've been talking about it, about the show, acting makes my wife want to watch it. Yeah, the only other time she's felt this way was Shang-Chi. The way I talked about it made her watch it, and then she ended up liking that a lot.
Right.
And then what was it? Black Panther 1, the first one. The way I
Sure.
talked about it, she absolutely loved it. So I'm not gonna go as far to say as this show is as good as those two movies, because I think we gave like Shang-Chi like 8.5 or 9
yeah,
out of
and
10.
I don't think we were doing ratings back then, but Black Panther is seen as like the second best Marvel movie ever.
Yeah.
So,
but out of the shows, the streamed shows, this one definitely feels like they have taken their time, really worked on the details, and decided what to give the audience, what not to give the audience. Obviously, they've talked about leaks before. You can't really stop those, but taking out the leaks, I think Marvel has handled this show really well. They casted really, really well. I cannot, for the life of me, remember the woman who plays the potions witch, but she's been a big shocker for me in terms of I didn't know who she was coming into this. I knew Patti LuPone, I knew Joe Locke, I knew Catherine Hahn, Aubrey Plaza,
sure.
but I can't think of her name. But she's been phenomenal. So
Yeah.
I think their casting's done really well, their writing's done really well, and it seems like it's going to connect into some future Marvel projects. I can't wait. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. I mean, some of the like the big picture things with this one, like possibly Mephisto. Let's just get the big name that was name dropped in this that we all are freaking out about because he's in every single project. Yeah, that goes right into like another like Young Avengers thing in Ironheart, where it's going to be like tech versus magic. So, yeah, I mean, if they drop a little bit of Mephisto here in this by the end of it, like game over, man. Like it's endless. The possibilities are endless, like going forward. So
speaking of which, future video idea, little production meeting while on air here. Young Avengers versus Mephisto, talking about each one. Comic book versus movie. How would they fare?
Right. I think what I'd like to have happen is Mephisto like go up against the Midnight Suns. I think that's the problem. I think that's the thing.
Yep. And last time we saw Doctor Strange, he was heading with Cleo to
probably a dark dimension. Maybe.
I think
Elsa Bloodstone and Werewolf by Night and Man-Thing could all be thrown in that. Blade, Black Knight could be thrown in that.
We've seen a lot of Blade talk recently, and we've also heard that Marvel was trying to get Ghost Rider in on 2 separate projects so far. So they are clearly trying to get Mephisto and Midnight Suns moving, I think.
Right. Yeah. I think that'd be the good villain for them.
Halloween's coming up here. I would love another Werewolf by Night-esque.
Yeah, another special presentation.
It was real good.
Yeah, all their special presentations have been good. I mean, they're 2 for 2 on special presentations. So
so that's it for the Agatha All Along. Let us know what you have thought so far about all these episodes. Comment, subscribe, all those things. And then last thing before we go, welcome.
I did something earlier in regards to what I thought you were going to talk about, and I'm doing something right now that I think I know what we're talking about, but go ahead.
Welcome to the DCU, Aaron Pierre.
That's what I'm talking about.
John Stewart / Green Lantern, not just Green Lantern, but a world of lanterns. Sounds like it's going to be done correctly because James Gunn's got it.
Well, yeah, they're dropping the first one in Superman Legacy.
Yeah,
There's going to be Nathan Fillion's character.
So for those
Guy
of you,
Gardner.
you're looking for family-friendly content and all that stuff, thank you for watching. Feel free to move along because I'm about to get not family-friendly. When this news came out, I was gonna come.
Yeah, dude, fucking me too, bro. Like, I've been trying to edge, but good lord.
Yeah,
man.
there was no edging allowed there. Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart isn't going to feed families. It's going to feed the state of Florida after both these hurricanes.
Exactly. Jesus.
Absolutely nuts. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I like what he's doing. I like what he's doing in regards to James Gunn. He's taken Hal Jordan. He's making him the older like veteran,
Yep.
right? You got Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion. He's going to be like an older veteran, and then you got Jon Stewart, who's this like young buck. You know what I mean? Like
he's doing what we wanted X-Men to do, where you're taking the veterans and training up the young people, doing that right.
Right.
Oh God,
right.
Sorry,
it's sick, dude. I think James Gunn knows what he's doing, and I think Superman Legacy is just going to be the start of everything, and it's just gonna I don't know.
I'm ready for DC to finally be fucking good.
Yeah, and and here's the coolest part. We don't even have Batman yet. Like, right. we have two pieces of the Justice League.
Superman and Green Lantern.
Yeah, we got two of them. And so just the fact that he's doing the DCU and there's already heroes established, like Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl and not Plastic Man. It's not Plastic Man. There's one other guy. There's another guy. Mr. Terrific. Yeah. Mr. Terrific. All these guys are already established heroes, and now you have this like kind of young gun Superman, like Clark Kent, just like trying to find his way. And then you're gonna have Aaron Pierre's Green Lantern, Jon Stewart, trying to find his way in a world of two established Green Lanterns. Like, I don't know. I just think it's a very good idea. So let me see. Yeah, I'm jacked. I thought that's the one when they did that choice and it's like between these four, I was like, I want Aaron Pierre, like for sure.
Yeah.
So super sick. Super
it's
excited.
It's gonna be so good. And then if you're still watching at this point, let us know. Are you just absolutely jacked for Aaron Pierre? Because we are, clearly. And I don't know. I'm excited for them to move away from the Shazam verse that was the DCEU.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for them to move into I know people are, they love to hate on it, but the more Marvel style DC universe coming up here,
right.
Where take it slow, do it right. Let's see what's going on here. And I can't wait. Thank you all so much for coming by. We'll see you again next week for the next Agatha episode. Welcome to the DCU, Aaron Pierre. You all look great today. GG.
GG.
Penis. Stop.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets, yeah, I'm tired of my chest. I'll never forget